Hello, hello, hello. It's Lisa Copeland and happy Monday. Wow, it's Monday already. And I know everybody's been anticipating this show today. One of my favorite humans on planet Earth is on, and we're going to talk all about the new book, The 7 Minute Setup, and some of the things I've been using from the 7 Minute Setup that have been absolutely game changing. So, I would play some music or I'd do something fun because I love that. You know, Danelle does that, but then I hear it throttles Facebook. So we don't want to throttle this show because we have got a bunch of great information to be able to lay down on you to help you take your business to the next level, to get out of the what I'm calling, Frankie, the COVID funk. So help me to welcome my dear friend, Frank Lopes.
Lisa, you said one of your favorite people on planet Earth. I had to look around and see if there was somebody behind me, like maybe my wife or someone. That's why I was like, favorite. Like, who's on? Is there some? I'm looking on the screen. Is there someone else on the show?
Somebody else on the show? Yeah,
besides
absolutely.
me?
No, never. So talk to us. You know, you're in New Jersey and you don't have the crazy governor. I guess that's the Michigan governor. But I mean, you have been pretty much on lockdown. So,
we have been, Lisa, we have been on lockdown. I think anybody I could tell you something right now. I in no way, shape, or form, after seeing what goes on with politicians through COVID, I don't think I ever want to be a politician because no matter what, you're wrong. Even if you're doing the right thing, you're wrong. If you're doing the wrong thing, you're definitely wrong.
oh,
There's
Frankie,
no way.
let's just be real. This is politics. The red has opened up and the blue's staying shut down tighter than Dick's hat band. I mean,
Yeah, I guess I got to kind of
there's my
agree with
personal
you.
opinion on the subject, people. This is not a political talk, but you know, the great
This
state
is
of Texas is open.
this is not a political talk, but
But
this is a
Elon Musk
talk.
is coming here. Just saying.
I know, that's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
No, look, no, it's not a political talk, but it is a talk about knowing what it is that you want to do with the rest of your life. Okay. And one thing that I know I don't want to do, which is just as important as knowing what you do want to do, right? One thing I know that I do not want to do is be a politician. By seeing what has gone on over the last 8 weeks with each and every single politician. You know, it basically doesn't matter if you're red or blue, if you're an orange state, it doesn't matter. You know, no matter what, there has been, there's
Frankie,
been
you're just
tremendous
playing it
criticism. No, listen. No, I'm going to a point here because, Lisa, it's just as important to know what you don't want to do as it is what you do want to do. Right. And I think throughout the last 8 weeks, a lot of people have realized a few things that they don't want to do anymore. And these are things that were going on before COVID. They honestly have nothing to do with COVID. And at the same time, they have everything to do with COVID, because if COVID never came, there's a lot of people that maybe would not have taken as hard a look at their life and as where they are, where they want to be, and what in the world it is that they're doing to get there, right? If COVID didn't come, they would have just continued to drift from 1 hour to the next, from one day to the next, from 1 week to the next.
I actually
from
agree
1 month.
with you on that. I've made some huge pivots, like huge for the better, and you know them, but this is not about me, it's about you today. But what are some of the pivots? What are some of the things that you have done? What has this done for you in the last 8 or 10 weeks? Because now, I mean, you're literally stuck in the house. You
Yes,
know, guys in the Northeast and out on the West Coast. I mean, you're in Michigan. You are in lockdown. So what has this brought out in you?
I'll tell you what it's brought out. It's brought out that as soon as this happened, I looked at this as a huge opportunity. Without being an opportunistic, okay? Without being opportunistic, I looked at this as a huge opportunity because there were a lot of projects, a lot of things that I had wanted to work on, a lot of things I wanted to get done, but my extensive travel schedule that I had pre-COVID, the amount of responsibilities that I had through my career made it so that a lot of times, every moment we have to pick what we want to do, and a lot of times that gets influenced by what we have to do. So, I spent a lot of time before doing that, and that was fine. That's great. I chose every one of those moves. But as soon as it came, I looked at it as a huge opportunity to do some things that I really wanted to do. And one of them was to really help. It was to get this book in the hands of as many people as possible, because Lisa, like I said before, so many people, as soon as this came and they were forced to do certain things in their lives, had to look and be like, you know what? I don't really like this. I don't really like where I'm going. I don't like where I'm not going. So many different things. And to be honest, I don't even really know how to get there. That's exactly what the book does, is it breaks out exactly how to take your personal, your business goals, your fitness goals, your health goals. It doesn't matter what it is, how to take it and to break it down into chunks.
So I'm going to stop you, because you're used to doing your own 2-hour show by yourself, but like I'm the boss here. So I'm going to ask you the question.
Okay.
All right. So for the one person on planet Earth that may not know you, take us back to Frank Lopes 10 years ago. Who was Frank Lopes 10 years ago?
Frank Lopes,
for that 10 one years. Person on planet Earth that doesn't know you.
Oh, okay, so look, there's a lot of people who do not know me, and for those who don't, for
that's
us to meet,
problem, right?
that's my mistake. Actually.
No, it's their problem for not knowing you.
For those who don't, this is a real get to know you type of type of scenario, and you're going to hear with the question that you just asked, Lisa, you're going to hear the bad before the good, because 10 years ago, Lisa, I was broke, I was bankrupt. I had closed 3 businesses, not one business, not 2 businesses, 3 thriving, profitable businesses, all shut down, all shut down on the verge of divorce, already bankrupt, and looking at my life, looking at myself every day in the mirror, looking and saying to myself, how in the world did I get here? How in the world did it happen? And it was all, look, I could blame the economy. I could blame a whole bunch of different things. I could blame Jesus if I wanted. Doesn't make a difference. No matter what, I was in the situation that I was in because of only one person, and that's me. And that's me, because of losing sight of my goals, of losing sight of my plan, of not adjusting, right? Of not pivoting, and of not, I really don't like the word pivot though, but of not adjusting to the times and to what was happening, right? Mostly because of loss of focus. So 10 years ago, Lisa, I was broke. I was completely broke. I was broken down.
But you had good hair. So you can do a lot with good hair. I've been told that over the years. Just screwing with you, Frankie. Just screwing with you.
I know.
Just trying to get you off your game, babe. Come on. Because I know you're the most focused human on planet Earth right now on getting this message out. But I wanted to take people back to, like, this wasn't just a book you wrote because you wanted to write a book like all the rest of us have done in the last 12 months. You wrote a book because you came through a fire, you had a message, and you had a system that worked for you to take you from poverty to, let's be real, very successful. I'll leave it at that.
That's right. And Lisa, and I did it twice. This is the part why I say 10 years ago why it was on me. It's because I didn't follow the plan. It's because I didn't follow the process. I didn't do anything besides drift. That was it. That's all I did. And that got me down such a road of misery and depression. I forgot to put that in. Like, I was seriously clinically depressed 10 years ago as well. Severe anxiety. Right. That's how I can talk about all these things in the book, because I've been there.
Yeah, you were very, very transparent in the book.
I think it's absolutely necessary.
And there were a few F's that weren't Frank.
There were a few F's that were not Frank, because there were times when I would look at myself and I would say, like, how the F did I get here? That's the extremity of it, of how I went from such an extreme high to such an extreme low. But then once I got to that bottom, I was like, you know what I got to do? I just got to work my plan. That's it. I just have to work my
Okay,
plan. I just have to
what was
reverse
the
engineer
moment
everything.
in time? What was the moment in time where you were like, okay, enough? Because let me tell you, Frankie, there's a bunch of people out there right now, and we're seeing it. I'm seeing them implode on social media. I'm seeing them implode their businesses and their whatever. And I think that somebody out there, and if somebody out there hears this, who's watching us right now, and you know people out there that are struggling, hit the share button. Hit the
That's right.
share button. People need to hear this message today. We're not here to sell books, although the website is up, y'all, to buy a book. But we are here to help people that have been impacted, just like everything that we have all been doing since this whole thing started, help people who are sitting in that same position right now. We have friends, Frankie, that are unemployed. Their businesses are closed. They are bleeding money. They are depressed. They are housebound, whatever it may be. And they need to hear this message. So share it out. Share it out. Okay. So back to at what point? So 10 years ago, you're broke. It's the second, like I know your story inside and out. It's the second time it happened. You are depressed. You've got anxiety.
Mhm.
You're like, oh my God, I'm a loser. I'm broke. I'm living on a couch. What am I going to do? What was the trigger? What was the thing where you said, damn it? No, this is it, man. I'm done. Thing in the sand and end of it. End of the pity party. Let's go.
It was, Lisa, I'll tell you, because everybody, it's different. That time when it happens, it's different. For me, it was the actual smack, right? It was the smack that my life got to that I had to actually sleep on my daughter's couch. Okay. When you have to go to your children for help. Okay, when you have to go to your children for a place, that's pretty bad. Yeah, that's bad. So that was that smack. The first time that I did it, 1994, I decided that on my own. That was just a point in my life when I looked, that was like, this is not the way that it's supposed to be. I can do so much more. I know I can do more. Even though I haven't done it, I know I can do it. And you know what, Lisa, it was the exact same words the second time. It was the exact same words again 10 years ago that I had to say to myself. That was actually 9 years ago, though, but that I had to say to myself, you know what? It's it. It's time. That's it. And for every single person, it's gonna be different. Some people, they can just decide. But Frankie,
there's usually an event. I mean, like, were you laying on your daughter's couch and you're like, okay, looking at the ceiling going, wow, how did I get here?
For me, that's exactly what that was. That was laying on her couch looking at the ceiling. Okay.
I might have heard this story before.
What's that?
I might have heard this story before.
You may have heard this story before. You may have heard this before. But look, for some people, they have to get to that point. There are other people that can just decide, like on a Tuesday, the way I did the first time. The first time I just decided, that's it. I just said, like, that's enough of this. That's it. I'm going. So it's not necessary to hit rock bottom. You don't have to hit rock bottom. You don't have to be sleeping on your child's couch, okay, in their apartment. You don't have to get to that point. You can literally decide right now, right this very, very second, okay, at 4:13 Eastern on Monday, May 18th, you can decide, okay, that's it. Enough of this crap. I am going for my vision. I'm going for my dreams. Each and every single thing that I do each and every day is going to serve my agenda.
Okay, what got you off the couch? Okay, so a lot of us make decisions. I mean, and Frankie, I would take that back to a New Year's resolution. Like every New Year's, every January 1st, I'm like, I am going to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to exercise every day. I'm going to read da-da-da-da-da. And by about January 5th, I don't know that I'm over it, but I've moved on. So what made you stick to that, for lack of a better word, resolution to get off the couch?
I employed the process. I employed my process of the same process that I developed myself. And honestly, I didn't sit down and say, okay, I'm going to make a process, right? It's just what I did. And then after I did it the first time, in 2011, when I did it again, all I did was think back to, okay, in 94, what did I do? Okay, what exactly did I do?
Why did you? Okay, so it worked for you in 94. You got your life together. You got your business going again. And then it fell apart again. What made it fall apart?
I let go of the process.
Okay.
I let go of the process. I basically, this book did not exist at that time, but I took all of the information that was in this book and I put it down.
Okay.
I put it down and I didn't use it. And as soon as I stopped using that information, as soon as I stopped that type of focus, that type of intention in each and every single action that I took, as soon as I put that down, let's do a little segue here for outwitting the devil, right? Because it's exactly what happened. I started to drift. Once I started to drift, I started to get into the repetitive rhythm, right? And then there it is. And then that was it. And then everything started sliding and everything just started going down so fast. But it's all because of the fact that I put the process down. I walked away from the process. And that, to this day, Lisa, that is the biggest single mistake of my life. Not the biggest regret, the biggest single mistake. Because if I would have stuck to the process, right, I wouldn't have gotten all the way. I wouldn't have gone that low. It wouldn't have gotten that bad.
So everyone's dying to know, because there are just so many people out there, and so many people that I know, and so many people that it's just like, oh, how are we ever going to recover? I'm like, please, this is a time that if you really, really get smart and crafty, you're going to make more money. You're going to recover. You're going to pivot. And I'll put a plug out real quick. I start my every morning Tuesday show now, 7 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning. Don't panic, pivot. And I'm going to do it for 12 weeks because it's a book or it's a course. And so it's lined out and it's strong. Okay. So talk to us about step one. Let's just get into it, because there might be people who don't want to hang on here the whole time. So I want to tell people that are interested, and you guys see it along the bottom, share this out. This is information that people need, because every one of us knows somebody that's drowning right now. And I think a lot of them are drowning because they've jumped into the pool. They're drinking the Kool-Aid. They're reading the press. The world's coming to an end. You're going to die. You're blah, blah, blah. Versus going, no, I'm an independent thinker. Okay. Yeah, there's a COVID disease out there. It's definitely affecting people. But what am I going to do during this time that is going to make me come out bigger, better, and stronger? And that's what I want to talk about. We got all kinds of people on here right now, but I'm not even going to interrupt you. I want to get you going. Talk about what is step one. Talk us through the 7-minute setup. Talk to that person like that person is on here right now, and they are you 10 years ago, and they're laying on their kid's couch, and maybe they've been furloughed. Maybe they've been laid off. Maybe they're not going back to work because they're getting more money on unemployment than they did working. Don't even get me started.
Don't get me started either.
Whatever it may be, talk to that person laying on the couch, paralyzed.
Okay. So the first step is the simplest. Okay. But it's also the most painful. And you have to go through the steps. It's so important. You have to go through the steps. The first one is so simple, because all you have to do is just say to yourself, what do I want my life to look like 7 years from today?
Okay, now would the person write that down? Would it be like you put it on a vision board? Would you just sit there and just think about it as you're looking up at the ceiling on your kid's couch? What are we doing here?
Yeah. So first you would start just by thinking about it, right? But you would find yourself needing to go from thinking to writing very, very quickly. So I recommend everybody start doing this with a piece of paper, okay? Piece of paper and pen.
Like this, like what I do every day.
Just
like it's 99
just like that.
Cents,
just like that. Just
like
this.
That's what we do.
Okay.
Yep.
So the first thing, what do you want your life to look like 7 years from today? What do you want it to sound like? I mean, we have to get that granular. What do you want it to sound like? Meaning, what type of sounds do you want to be hearing? Okay. What do you want it to feel like? Meaning, what do you want to feel on your skin? Do you want it to be warm? Do you want it to be cold? Do you want it to change? What type
of clothes? I want enough money to pay for Botox forever. So I'd be like, okay, my skin, that for us women, that might be a good motivator.
That could be. And you're going to see. Okay. So now we're going to use the Botox throughout the whole rest of the conversation.
I've never used Botox.
No, you never have. Neither have I. So what do you want it to look like? What do you want it to feel like? What type of clothes are you wearing? That's how granular you want to get with the feeling. Okay. What do you want to hear? What do you want to see? What do you want to be seeing around you all the time? Okay. Who do you want around you?
Right.
Who
Power
do
of
you want to be
association,
surrounded by?
right? You know, what we talk about in Outwitting the Devil, the power of association. Who are
Exactly.
your people? Frankie, you and I talk about all the time. We'll be like, oh, those are not our people.
Those are not our people,
They're
right?
not our people.
When you look in the mirror, what do you want to see? What do you want to see back? Okay. What do you want what do you want your own presentation to be like? All of those types of things. And you start writing them down. And I've seen this, Lisa, with each and every single person that I have personally coached through the 7-minute setup. It starts off the same. There's only, they write down one thing. They write down another thing. And then all of a sudden, it's like somebody just turned a hose on and boom, and they can't write fast enough, because then the mind just starts to immediately think.
Self-actualization, self-visualization,
Yes.
Like this is like, now, what does it work out if someone like me writes, I want to be 25 again in a size 0?
Okay, now look,
Probably right?
No, it's not happened. Now, while I do say that you need to write, that's what Botox is for. So if I do say to everybody, you have to keep those things. You have to make it so that, number one, that they're perfect. There's nothing else going on in the world that could keep you away from it. Okay? They have to be positive. They all have to be producing something all the time, positive gain all the time. And they have to be pure, no ill intent whatsoever towards anyone in any of those. And I have seen people write down, I'm going to get my
sure want somebody to go. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I have seen some of them that are not pure. So you need to be able to keep them pure. But the first thing that, is you have to think of them as being perfect. Like nothing else in the world could get in your way, because in reality, nothing will get in your way. When you are super, super focused, some things, maybe there's going to be a detour. Maybe there's going to be a little speed bump. You got to slow down, go over the bump, and then boom, you get to take off again. All right. But in reality, there is nothing. COVID didn't stop this book from getting published.
I'm going to say COVID don't get published, because I've known about this book for probably a year, and you were so stinking busy. Your business has blown up in a great way. Everybody wants to work with, everybody wants to get more Frank.
Everybody wants to get more
Frank. Everybody wants to get more Frank. Everybody wants to work with the Frankie. I get calls all the time, who's the best, Frank, Anyways, that being said, the COVID got this book to market. COVID, and I say that because COVID has done, somebody needs to write a book about, or somebody needs to do a vision board about what COVID did for me positively.
Yes.
Like my list is 300 feet long. It's unbelievable, because I had the time to explore some opportunities that I didn't have time to listen to before. Now you know about one of them. It's huge. Yep. So yes, COVID got your book to market. Okay, I want to go to number 2. Oh, look at this. Andrea Lopes is on.
And look what she said. Lisa is right. COVID got it published. It's true.
Andrea always says I'm right.
Well, at least that's because you are usually right. Okay, so the next step after that is you need to begin to reverse engineer. Now you have the picture of what you want your life to look like 7 years from today, right? So now you need to reverse engineer.
I want a house. I want a bigger house.
You want a big house by the right. Yeah, you want a big house by the ocean. Everybody wants a big house by the ocean.
Right. I want an Aston Martin. I want to work for myself, which people is way overrated, just for the record. I want to be I want to be the greatest speaker in the world. Okay. So I'm throwing some stuff out for you guys and gals that are watching this right now. Did you share this out yet, Frankie?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And don't you agree that as you're doing that, to make some audacious claims? I want the big house, which is what you did. I want the big job. I want the big bank account. I want the beautiful new wife.
Absolutely.
Because Frankie got all of everything he dreamed about and more. He won the lottery when he married Andrea. Okay, but
that's the truth. And friends, so can you. You can have everything. So put it on there. Now, obviously, look, I could put on my list. Let's go down this road really quick, okay? And then I want to get to the next step. I could put on my list that I want to be quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, okay? But I'm 50 years old. So what are the chances of me really becoming quarterback? I think Prescott's I think Dak is good. He doesn't have to worry about Lopes. Okay. He doesn't have to worry about Lopes. So they have to be possible as well. They really do have to be possible. So now reverse engineer one step back, because look, you're not going to wake up on a Tuesday and have the Aston Martin sitting outside. Okay. You're not going to wake up on a Thursday and be in the big house by the ocean. It's not going to happen. You're going to have to take the steps. You're going to have to put in the work, and you're going to have to do everything to get yourself there. So the next part of this is over the next 7 months. Over the next 7 months, what do I need to do to get myself closer, okay, to whatever that 7-year vision is? So let's say, for example, there's somebody who's in their early 20s, okay, and they want to be Mr. Olympia, right? They want to, like Arnold Schwarzenegger they want to be Mr. Olympia, all right? So obviously they're not just going to wake up tomorrow and boom, and they're on the stage and they're doing the pose and right, like it's not going to happen. So you're going to have to take the steps. So the step number 1 could be easy, right? In the next 7 months, I want to be in the gym 5 days a week. In the next 7 months, say, for example, you put down that you wanted to be in the best physical shape of your life. Okay. So step 1 could be join a gym. So on your 7-year, what I call 7-year waypoint goals, there are goals that you're going to hit along the way towards that big 7-year vision. All right. And every time you hit one, friends, you should celebrate. You should celebrate that win. Make a big deal out of it. You should always celebrate the wins.
I mean, everybody will tell you that in business and in life, that the day you don't celebrate the wins, they don't matter anymore. I mean, we as people, we like to celebrate. We like to have a party. We like to feel good. And so there's so many people out there, Frankie, I see that they don't celebrate the wins. And it's like, man, there's enough bad stuff that if you don't celebrate the wins.
Yeah. I tell people to plan out the celebration of the win.
I like it.
Plan out the celebration of the win. When I get X amount, right? When I get X amount, I'm going to have a big party at my house. I'm going to invite all my friends over, right?
I think that we did that for your 50th birthday.
You guys all kind of did do that for my 50th birthday. We all
jumped on airplanes and came across the country.
I should have known there was something.
The whole thing together. It was unbelievable.
I should have known there was something up when I walk up and you're standing on the other side of the door like, and I didn't know you were here. Okay, sure. Okay, so your 7-month waypoint goals, right? The things that you need to do along the way. There's also a big important part of this, Lisa, that I have to throw in right now. The 7-month waypoint goals are crucial because there's a lot of times when you sit down, right? And we have both been there, when we sit down and we think, in 7 years, I want this. Sounds like a great idea. Okay, sounds like something you really want. But then as you start getting towards it, when you start working towards it, you're like, you know what? Yeah, I don't think I want that. I didn't realize that there was this involved. I didn't realize I would have to do this. I didn't realize I would have to give up that. Okay. Right. So that's why it's so important to have those 7-month waypoint goals, because
and I like that, Frankie, because people evolve. And sometimes what you think you want today, you don't want 4 years from now or 3 years from now, or you start going down a path for what you thought you wanted. And you're like, no, okay, change my mind. I've done that so many times. It's like, oh, wow, why could I have ever wanted that? Right. But you have to take the steps to move forward to do it. Otherwise, you have regret. Right. That's the difference.
And that's why the 7-minute setup works. That's why, because it's not rigid, it's fluid. Right. It's completely fluid with your life, right? Because you are the one who's in control of the whole thing. You're the one who's in control of it, right? So because of the fact that you have complete control, it gives you the possibility to be able to change and to pivot, right? And to rethink and to readjust as your life evolves. And also, Lisa, everybody else that's involved in your life, they all have their own agenda. Things happen, right? People are all moving in different directions. Things are constantly going on. And sometimes somebody can make a move and that may influence a move that you make. Absolutely. Or it may change something that you want to do.
Okay, so we're going to summarize up a little bit because I want to keep everybody on track. I told Frankie, we're shutting this thing off at 58 minutes so that it can upload to everywhere, Instagram, and you got to be at 58 minutes. You got to edit, and Lisa doesn't edit. Melissa Skinner says, love this, Frank. I'm going to have to get your book too. And you see where to get it, Melissa. My goals are always evolving to reach my dreams. And Melissa, they need to. And Hafiz says, hi, Saxy. I wonder if he's talking to you or to me.
That one's for you. That's for you. That's not.
Thank you. I'm just kidding. Okay, so step 3. So step 1, man, like know where you want to go, right? Write it out there. You know, what do you want to associate with? What do you want to see in your life? Visualize that. Write it down on a piece of paper. Number 2, set up the 7-month goal. 7-month goal gets us on track. It gets us like, okay, here's step 1. And it might, if on a 7-year plan, it might take you 7 months to complete step 1.
That's right. It more than likely will take you 7 months to complete it. But guess what? If it takes only 5, that's
Right.
great.
You're ahead of the game.
You're ahead of the game. If it takes
Right.
only 3, beautiful. If it takes only 3, set that waypoint goal a little bit higher. But look, I don't want to go off track, but Patrick Block said, number 1 vision of 7 years from today. Why 7? To stick with the number. No, Patrick, it's not to stick with the number. It's because a lot of people do that first step in the series of a 10-year vision. Okay. And 10 years, to be honest, too far away. It's just too far. Most people won't stick with it, or most times than not, it'll change on you. Right. And a lot of people have a block over thinking about what they're going to be doing 10 years from today. Okay. So like, for example, myself, and call me whatever you want from this. It's fine. Doesn't matter. 10 years from now, I'm going to be 60. Okay. But I'm 50 now. So I don't want to really think about being 60 in that type of a aspect. I want to think I can get my arms wrapped around 57. Okay. And I can think to myself, oh, wow, when I'm 57, like I'm still in my 50s. Like I'm going to know so much more. I'm going to have so much more experience. I'm going to have like my network is going to be so much bigger. This is going to be out for 7 years. I mean, like there'll be so much more that I can do with it. It's just that 10 years is just too long. That's it. That's it. So then the next part is each and every single day, you have to have a plan for what you're going to accomplish over the next 7 days. Okay. Now, this is something that needs to be done over the weekend. It needs to be done either on Saturday. It needs to be done on Sunday. I do mine on Sunday mornings. Okay. And I look over the last week. When I do it, I have my 7-year vision laying in front of me. I have my 7-month waypoint goals sitting in front of me. And then I have my 7-day plan. I have my 7-day plan, all 3 of them in front of me. So, and the reason to do that is to make sure that you're always going back, that you're always on track. It's almost like your map. So,
hold on. We just had somebody pop on who wants to listen to this.
Who's here? Look at this.
What's going on? Trouble?
Well, Frankie's on a roll, so I just wanted to bring you on because we wanted to like celebrate Frankie's book, but he's on a roll and we're on the 7-day plan right now. Keep going, Frankie. And for those of you who don't know Dan Moore is in the house.
There he is. So,
there he is.
Hey, buddy. Okay,
What's going on, man?
So this is, but look, and here are my sheets right here. Here are all 3 of my sheets. So Dan's trying to read them as I flash them up, right? So look, 7-year vision. There it is. You can see the date right there. The date that I last made it out was March 1st. That leads to the 7-month waypoint goals, which leads to my 7-day plan this week. So when I wrote this out yesterday, these 2 sheets were sitting in front of me. So like that, I always stay on target. I always stay on the map. I'm looking at the map the whole time. And what's great about it is that with this pen, I can rewrite the map. I can make the road longer. I can make it smaller. I can make it take a left.
I mean, like,
totally.
As you test things out, y'all, and Dan, jump in here on the same time. As you test something that you think's going to work, God, I mean, I'm the queen of that. And so I'm like, no, that really was not that great of an idea. But I had to test it for my own self. And then, but the difference is that those of us who know how to pivot when it doesn't work, like, change it up. And there are some people that are just like, no, this is what I said I'm going to do. And they go down with the flip and ship. What do you think?
Oh.
So, sometimes we stay a little too long to the dance, but the reality of it is that you've got to, I think it takes more to realize when it's time to walk. Like that's the skill, is understanding the pivot or almost redefining. So you could have a plan and say, hey, I'm going down this road. It's not quite exactly panning out the way you want it to, but it may open the door to a new pivot. So it's just kind of embracing that and moving it forward.
All right, keep going, Frankie.
That's right. Why have your vision be so narrow that it can only be this thing? Because a lot of times, like I said before, everybody else in the world, their agenda is constantly evolving and moving as well. So something may come this way and be like, hey, how about this opportunity? That doesn't mean you jump at every single opportunity that comes by.
But you're drifting.
Then you're drifting. But sometimes, to be honest, a good one pops up, right? And people are like, nope, this is what I'm doing right now. I'm all about me, and this is what it is, and that's it. And that great opportunity goes away.
But Frank, take that to the other side of the coin. All of us, I was at Dan's house. I've been at your house, like whatever, like life's great. We're all making money. The country's doing great. And boom. And then one day, all of a sudden it's like, what? We're doing what? Right. So that's a different kind of pivot. That's you're kicking ass, taking names, and then something stops you in your tracks. An illness, right. A pandemic, a death, a divorce, whatever. And you're like, whoa. So, I think you've got to be as agile to accept any kind of pivot, whether it's self-induced or not.
Absolutely. You have to be flexible, because if not, you're rigid. And if you're rigid like that, to be honest, sooner or later, you're going to dig your own hole. Mm-hmm. You're going to dig your own hole because of your rigidity, because the whole rest of the world, right, is still going. It's still evolving. If you can't react with it, if you can't react to it, if you can't adjust because of it, it's not going to move because of you. You have to move yourself. And a lot of that has to do with reacting to whatever it is that's going on. Like Melissa said, be flexible. You have to be flexible. And because the pen is in your hand, you're the one who has control. Look, there isn't anybody on the face of the earth who has the right, or even the knowledge, to be honest, right, to be able to tell anybody else what their goals should be. There's not.
I've actually been known to do that. Right,
It's a little different with you, Lisa. It's a little different because it's okay to give advice to somebody when you can see, okay? But to dictate the goals to somebody, that's totally like out of line.
People won't do it. Napoleon Hill says people know what they should do, but they don't do it, right? And so, Dan, what do you think, right? People know what they're supposed to do.
Well, they do, but some of it just comes down to just lying to themselves. You know what's important or not important. You know what the steps are. It's just a question of choice. So the standard excuse we've created is this multitasking facade of we can all multitask. It's kind of like you can be the jack of all and master of none really quick. So you've got to be aware of what you can handle and move through that. It's kind of one foot in front of the other. You have to have the plan, which makes sense, right? The 7 steps, it all makes sense. The next component to that is where I think a lot of people get hung up is you can listen. You understand all of the things, but then it takes one component, which is execute. You have to start moving.
Forget about it.
Well, and that's where I think the disconnect to a lot of it is execution. You understand that, hey, diets and exercise. I understand I want to look like this. This all sounds good. I've watched enough of these people do these exercises. I watched this person tell me what I should eat. If you're not going to execute it, you're still going to be in the same seat. So you've got to be able to kind of move the ball forward and understand how to put one foot in front of the other. And I think that's where a lot of the challenge comes.
So Frank, what is your advice? How did you actually execute? I've done it. I haven't had to do it on my kid's couch. Thank you, Jesus. But I've done it where I just go, okay, I'm going to do this, and this. And then tomorrow I go, that sounds good. I'm going to start tomorrow. What was that urgency in you besides the couch might've been too short and hard and your back hurt, but what is it?
It's two things. Number one, for most people, the first thing that comes back is the fact that they don't know how. Mm-hmm. That's always a huge issue, is they don't know how. They know that they want.
The pain has to be severe enough. The biggest reason I've seen people execute things over the years is because the pain, not the physical pain, but just the pain, the shame, the regret, the whatever. It's it gets to the point where it's okay, I'm either going to do it or die. Do it or die. Right. And were you to that point on your daughter's couch 10 years ago, as you were like, damn, I did it again. I'm broke again. I'm sitting here on my kid's couch. I got nothing. And did you get to the point where you made the decision, do it or die?
Absolutely. The second time, yes. The first time, no. The first time I just decided. The first time I knew that I could do more, than I know I could be better. I know I could make a huge success out of my life. So I just decided to do it. And I put my head down and I did it. The second time, yes, I had to get to that point. That's why I was saying before, for everybody, it's a little bit different. And that part, like what Dan said, the part of contentment, that part of being content, that part of it being like, that's okay. Friends, contentment, contentment will kill you more severe than cancer will. Because it's the type of thing that you'll just be content. Oh, that's okay. I don't have to lose the weight. I'll go to the gym tomorrow, right? I'm not this, I'm not that. And then you're so far past. You're so far past the point of where you were when you realized that the point of, either you're at the point of no return or you are out of time. Like, I'm too old to be quarterback for the Cowboys now, right? I'm out of time. I'm out of time on it, okay? Or the hill now is so big, it's so high that I look at it and I'm like, it's just not worth it anymore. But the reason I didn't climb the hill is because I was content sitting on the bottom. That's why I'm saying that part of contentment, man, it's a killer.
It's contentment and fear. I mean, the other piece to it is that sometimes people they let fear take over and they don't understand the consequence of regret till after. So the challenge becomes, fear needs to become, the second you have fear, you have to start weighing regret. And that's kind of the big jump forward there is that there comes this point to where, hey, if I don't do this, what is the regret in that? Meaning, if I don't take this new job or take this new leap of faith or jump on this, getting myself eating healthy and doing the right things, what are the things I'm going to regret by not doing this? Yeah. And that starts to help kind of relieve some of that fear, because I say this, I don't have a challenge with fear. I have a challenge with regret. So I am not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid to face fear in the aspect of, I never want to regret. Right. Because to your point, Frankie, you got one ticket to this wonderful thing called life. So if you're going to live it with this point of failure and compounding regret, then yeah, you're going to be paralyzed and never take any form of action. And that's, that's the shame in it all, because everybody's far more capable than what they believe in themselves. Fact. And at the end of the day, if that's where you are, then you've got to surround yourself with people that are going to lift you up, help provide a roadmap to get you unstuck. Because that's really where you are just right now.
If you're, there are just people out there. We all three have said it. They're just not our people, because they don't run at the same level we do, and that's not a financial thing. That's a, by God, I'm going to figure this shit out. I'm going to get it done, and whatever. And so, Frankie, I'm going to spend the rest of our time. I don't want to talk about many more steps of your book. I thought, people, you need to buy it. You need to buy
the book.
Companies, you need to buy it for your organization, because if Frankie tells you everything right now, then, and it's along the bottom, then forget about it, man. Then you don't need to buy the book. So, and you have to do the work. So, Frank, I want to give you a bit, because something I think that came out of this book and that came out of just the great human being that you are, you set up the 30 strong. I think it's hashtag 30 strong. And
right.
What is it?
Strong 30. That's
strong
okay.
30. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Strong 30. And you're helping sale, because on my Facebook feed, I see all these salespeople and they're holding up this piece of paper, right? And it's what their goals were. And I know it's all aligned with the book. And so you're not just writing a book about it, which is easy enough to do, but I'm telling you guys, if anybody out there has written a book, and the three of us on this screen have, it's not easy. There's nothing easy about it. You're struggling to find that last 1,000 words, 2,000 words. Oh God. I think my last book was at 42,000, and we all have the same publisher and editor. And she's like, I don't care what you got to do. You can go climb a mountain, and you need to download from God of 2,000 more words. Otherwise it's not a book, it's a pamphlet, right, Liz? So not only did you write the book, right, and you lived it out yourself, but then you made the decision, and I want you to share with everybody about that. You made the decision that you wanted to share this knowledge, because you, in your travels around the country, doing what you do in all these dealerships, salespeople are struggling. They're struggling, whether it's COVID-19 or it's, it's the best of times, right? And in car sales, especially, I know this to be a fact. It's the 2% club. You got, I say 2%. It's probably the 30% club. You got 30% of the people doing all the business. And you really took that upon yourself, Frank. You took it upon yourself to help an industry that weren't even your clients. Because how much do they pay you for that?
Nothing.
So I want you to spend the last few minutes talking about that. And Dan, you weren't here, but I'm cutting this thing off at 58 minutes so that it uploads and downloads to all the different things. Because more than that, we have to edit. And Lisa, don't edit.
So the group is really, it's very simple. It's #strong30. It's on Facebook, and in the group, Lisa, I wish I would have known that you were going to go down this road.
I didn't know I was going to either.
I would have showed everybody the sheet. So in that group, in the beginning of the month, is what I call the action sheet for the month gets posted. And on the action sheet are 11 actions that salespeople should do each and every single day to help to build their book of business and to keep themselves consistent, hence to keep themselves strong all 30 days of the month, right? So it's so important because they wind up, look, salespeople are the ones who get the least amount of help. They get the least
amount of help, and they're the ones who keep the wheel on the bus, everybody. If it wasn't for those frontline salespeople, the dealers wouldn't have a jet. Let's be real.
Exactly. And that's really what it comes down to. And that's what I spend a tremendous amount of time, right? Especially on Facebook Lives, on my shows, I spend a tremendous amount of time laying out steps and giving direction to salespeople, right? Why? Because nobody else does it without charging somebody for it. Okay. And to me, that's not really the right way to do it, because if this industry is going to grow, the salesperson needs to learn. Okay. And when I was a salesperson, honestly, nobody helped me. I just kind of learned it as I went along, and I made a ton of mistakes along the way. And I see salespeople we all did. And I see salespeople making the exact same mistakes over and over again.
I see salespeople making the same mistakes I made 30 years ago because the conversation hasn't changed. The pay plan hasn't even changed. The mini is still the same amount of money.
Yeah,
right?
and no one's taught them.
You took it upon yourself.
And nobody's taught them. Nobody's taught them a better way. If there's a salesperson who does learn a better way, they immediately get all quiet. They immediately get quiet. They immediately think they have some kind of secret, but it's actually something that somebody else is doing in another dealership right down the street too.
Now, but Frankie, I want to preface that on the 80-20 club. If there are 20% of the dealers in this country that do a really, really good job of training and of taking care of their salespeople, it's the other 80% who are just like, up until COVID, they're like, hey, the world is ginning. We're making more money than I've ever made in my life. We're selling cars. I don't care that we have a burn rate of 90% of our salespeople every 12 months and our managers are morons. We don't care because the money's coming in, right? You couldn't help but make money, and then COVID hit. And I'm just seeing a lot of really good readjustments in that whole thing. But keep going.
For the car business, honestly, let's go down this road. For the car business, COVID is probably the best thing that's happened. It's probably the best thing that happened because there were so many actions, so many changes, so many adjustments that should have been made just due to natural evolution. Okay. But complacency took over, and you've got dealers who were like, you know what? If I sell 150 cars this month, the store's going to make X amount of money. That's going to throw, as the dealer, that's going to throw me Y amount. You know, that Y is pretty good. They'll say they want more, but they're happy with the Y. That's good.
They're walking out and getting into their Bentley and on their jet. They're good.
So then another month goes by without making an adjustment, and another year goes by, and 78% or whatever that statistic is, I think it's 78. Let's say it's 78. 78% of the salespeople turn over, right? And they go
actually,
and they work
90% in a domestic store, but okay.
Right. So they turn over and they move on to the next thing. But the next month comes by and they sold that 170 cars. And, I'm still in the middle of the pack. I'm good. Right. And then COVID comes, and all of a sudden, all of these things that needed to be put in place and needed to be changed suddenly got changed. But they got changed because they were forced to be changed. Right. Flat out. That's why, because they were forced. But you have that 20% group. That 20% that were like, oh, we bring the car to a customer's house. Oh, I've already been doing that for like 6 years.
Brian Benstock, right?
You know, okay. Now, pick up cars for service and stuff. Oh, we've been doing that already for like 5 years. You know?
Yeah, but the fun part of that, though, that you guys all missed, though, was one key element that I thought was pretty interesting.
Oh, I know where you're going.
We quickly found out what was essential and non-essential.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about that, when this first happened, what was the first thing everybody went after? Scraped, cut, reduced?
Advertising.
But look, go further though, right? Like you deemed what was essential.
Right.
So when we go back to, hey, the whatever, and I love this terminology, the new norm. When we go back to like basically spending money, how much more waste are we going to ramp back up and go back to the old ways versus really looking at and condensing what it is we're doing all the way across? It's not just about marketing; it's just operations as a whole.
Yeah.
What do you deem important? Because it was interesting how much
we're
stuff
learning how to do less, do more with less.
Well, but that was 08 all over again. I mean, you cut headcount, you reduced and restructured pay plans so that it was more conducive to the business to win than the people. I was there, I remember. There's, and it's something that happens across every business. It's not even just automotive. The reality of it is who's growing, who's adding on, and who doubled down. That's what you have to watch, even automotive and non-automotive. But it was just interesting to see what quickly became that was so essential during the time that's now not essential. And the other word that was really kind of interesting that hasn't existed for quite some time is the word co-op. I've been on the phone a lot, and I used to hear the word co-op, and I haven't heard that in a minute. So I'm just saying it's so interesting to see the paradigm shifts in what's going on and how everybody's looking at their business. So when it turns back, why are we so quick to jump in on that?
Yeah, that's probably another whole show in itself is post-COVID, what's really going to stick. I read an article today in the Wall Street Journal, and the Wall Street Journal said, car sales are going to surge because ride share is going to take a dump. And I'm like, for now, people have a very, very short memory. And cars are still very expensive, especially in the Northeast and New York and some places to operate. So once people figure out, hey, we're going to be okay. And I live in Texas, Dan, you're in Arizona. We're already seeing it, man. There's people parks, they're everywhere. I mean, this is what a difference a week makes, right? And so people have a short memory. So as we get, oh my God, my contacts are so bad. So we have 8 minutes left. So Frank, I want to talk about your vision for the people that will buy this book. I want to talk about what your vision is for why you wrote the book, not the steps. To get the rest of the steps, folks, you're going to have to buy the book. I mean, come on, it's like a whopping $15 on Amazon, or just go right here to the 7minutesetup.com and get a copy of the book. We're not going to tell you the rest of the, you have to do some work and you have to make a little investment in yourself. But what is your vision? I have this book now. I got it. I was one of the first ones to order it. I know Dan did too. What is your vision for me for reading this book?
What's your vision? What's my vision for you?
For me, for everybody else who buys this book, what is your hope and your prayer for this?
It's not a hope and a prayer. It's a fact. If you work the system that is in this book, okay, if you sit down and you plan out that first initial,
execute people.
Which exactly, if you work the system that is in the book, if you take your vision, if you take your goals, if you take your dreams and you put them into that system, when you come out on the other end, you will achieve them all.
And
it's that simple. You will.
You've done it twice.
Number one, I've done it twice. Number two, people that I have personally coached have hit their 7-year vision items in far less than 7 years.
Now, this
far less
work in any industry. This is not just a car business.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
If you're in real estate, if you're in insurance, if you are, I mean, this is a life book, people. So don't think about it as, I'm only going to have my friends in the car business read it because, you are so prominent in the auto industry. But this is a book for every single person who's stuck.
Absolutely.
As I finished reading it the other day, that's what I thought. I thought, you know what? This is a book for people that are stuck. And you're handing these people a roadmap to get unstuck. Now, you can't make them do it, Frankie. You can't make people execute. Dan, you know that from your book. You got a great book too. You can't make, you can lead a horse to water.
Right.
And
but Frankie gets him a little bit closer.
I'm telling you right now, y'all, it's the 2% club in this world.
Agreed, but what I would say that's special about Frank's book is it is that missing element of there's a lot of people talking about what you should do.
Right.
Frank's saying this right here. See this? Now I'm going to get you to write it down and take action. I'm going to give you a plan.
Except that Frank's not going to be there holding their hand. I agree. But
the book gives you the steps, though. But it gives you the steps, and that's the piece that I think that's valuable and why people should pick this book up is that if you're sitting there stuck and you're like, hey, I've got all these great ideas, or hey, which foot do I start with, my right or my left? That Frank's book's going to help format that and help you kind of get pen to paper to take that first step. And I think that's a lot that's missing right now. So, for the mere $15 to figure out how to take the first step to change your life, I mean, this is kind of a no-brainer.
And the way I see it is if someone's not willing to spend the $15 to change their life, they are not ready to change their life.
No, they're in denial. They want to be stuck. It's okay. But own it. But the nice thing about Frankie's book too is it's not about being the 1%. It's not about being the 10%. It's not being about the 20%. It's just about being a person that is trying to figure out where you want to go. What is it you want to do? What makes you happy? It's not, money's a byproduct. So if you're just looking at, hey, how do I get rich? Okay, great. But that's not what the premise is. The premise is tapping into you as an individual and saying, hey, I'm far more greater and capable of doing what I am today. What is it that I want to do? What goals do I have? What vision do I have? Because as you lay out that 7-year plan, you start backing it into micro moments that start leading you to execution. That's the beauty of the book.
Okay, I love it. Frankie, you got 2.5 minutes. I'm going to let you close the show, my friend.
I was about to say, watch your time.
I'm watching it because Lisa doesn't edit, and I want to get this to YouTube and LinkedIn and everywhere else.
Time thing.
I know.
This whole time, I know she's so strict with the time now, right? And that's okay. But look, so this is how we're going to wrap it up. It does not matter how old you are. Okay. It does not matter what you want your life to look like 7 years from now. To be honest, I don't really care. I don't really care what you want your life to look like 7 years from now. I could care less, right? The thing that I care about is that you don't take that vision and just let it go by the wayside, that you don't let complacency get in the way, that you don't let drifting get in the way, because you will get to a point where you one day will say to yourself, wow, I really wish and then fill in the blank. And to be honest, I don't want you to get to that point. That's the only thing I want. What that is, man, that's up to you. That's up to you. If you want to, if you want to swim the English Channel, if you want to like travel the whole world, if you want to, come up with the cure for cancer, that's on you. Whatever it is that you want, do it. Do it. Don't put it to the side. Do it. If you don't know how to do it, which is what most people, that's where they get stuck. I know I want this, but wow, I don't really know what I should do. Then grab the book. The where you get it is right below. The website is below. Go grab the book. It is not immensely thick. It is 176 pages.
How many words?
That is it. 40,000 and like 100 something.
So right? That you're 100 over being a book. I mean, to be a book, not a pamphlet.
To be a pamphlet. That's right. That's right. But I had to keep it simple. This is not going to take you 6 months to get through. Okay.
60 seconds.
Yeah.
Wrap
this
it up.
is.
Come on.
Yeah. No matter what it is that you want to do, you can do it. Whatever it is, you will do it. You just need the process. Okay. The process is here. Don't let any excuses or anything get in your way. Don't get to the end of the life where you regret it. Do it now. Start by buying the book. That's it. I'm done.
All right, Dan, you got 20 seconds.
What he said.
Dan Moore is our dear friend of little words. Whereas everyone tells Frank and I that we might be very overexposed, we about both have a heart attack if we see Dan Moore live or, out there.
It's a going fun in this group, I got to tell you.
Especially with that great setup, and look how nice his lighting is right now.
I know.
It's beautiful.
It's just gorgeous.
Thanks, buddy. I mean, I do listen to you. I just, I got, hey, I've got my list of things to accomplish.
Well, you know what? We'll have to do another show on that. For everybody that joined us today, thank you, thank you, thank you. Invest in yourself. Go to the 7minutesetup.com. Follow Frank Lopes. And get on to hashtag 30 strong. Be back here on this Bat channel tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Eastern, as I launch my Tuesday morning show, Don't Panic, Pivot. And it's good. And I'm telling you, it is really good. With that being said, bye, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m.